Welcome to Fred Achando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I won't forget to thank you for your continued support. If you're watching us for the first time, the kindest request I want to give you, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell. Don't forget to like and share our videos. Now, the Kenya Airways has always said and believe that they are the pride of Africa. But that pride is being taken away very slowly, because today over 300,000 Kenya shillings has been lost courtesy of a strike by the Kenya Pilots Association due to a dispute that has taken time to resolve. The Kenya Pilots Association gave a 14 days notice to show the government just how serious they were. Instead of the government sitting down with them, they have continued to issue threats. Today alone, over 10,000 passengers had been stranded at the JKIA. Over a dozen airlines are grounded and the operations have been stalled completely. And when I read this story and I was looking at the whole situation, because I had someone who was to travel and he had to cancel everything, I was kept wondering what exactly is happening to the Ruto administration. Because William Ruto is still trying to gain grounds. He's still trying to place everything in order, and then a strike notice, not anywhere, but one that is touching at the heart of his economic pilot program. What exactly is happening, ladies and gentlemen? I remember sometimes back when Rigathi Gachagua was still wondering whether he was still the deputy president or he was still campaigning, he said something that did not augur well with the many investors, because I remember he blamed the handlers at KQ, and he said that the KQ is making losses courtesy of the handlers. I want to submit to you here, ladies and gentlemen, that someone has crafted and calculated plans to sabotage the Kenyan economy. And while sabotaging the Kenyan economy, William Ruto, the president, is at the center of everything and is going to suffer if he does not come and call a meeting very fast to resolve this. Yesterday, there was a 5-hour meeting that was convened by the transport minister, Mr. Kipchumba Murkomen, to try and resolve this together with the Airlines Association and the union, the labor union that represents the pilots. But nothing happened. And after that meeting, I saw what I can say lack of seriousness from the government. Because instead of giving hope, the statements that came out from the Minister of Transport was to blame the pilots of a team which is inclined to sabotage the Kenyan economy and to sabotage the government that has just come in. Why did the pilots wait until the swearing in of the new cabinet secretaries only to strike before they set their grounds? Only to strike before they even understand the operations within the offices where they are, because it's hardly a week.
The government is facing right now.
Because it is hardly a week since they were sworn in, the cabinet secretaries, some of whom had got some questionable academic backgrounds. I want to say that the whole team, the Minister of Transport, the Minister of Trade, and maybe of Foreign Affairs must come together and sit down and understand the union who represent the workers. Because from all I understand is that there is a failed agreement. There was a collective bargaining agreement that was signed, but they have failed to implement it. I understand that there were some packages that the pilots used to receive, but these were negated during the COVID pandemic, when the COVID struck the country. And they had an agreement that with the time, these were going to be reinstated. But over the years, nothing has happened. And so after push and pull, they have tried to negotiate with the Airlines Association and the government to no avail. So they decided they didn't just wake up to down their tools. They gave a 14-day notice. Now, instead of the stakeholders sitting down in a serious meeting, they went to court. And I must say, ladies and gentlemen, that sometimes the court is not the only way to resolve cases such as this one. Because while they downed their tools, there were several passengers who were stranded, and Kenyans has lost a lot of money. Now, the KQ is in conjunction with many other business people, the multinational businessmen and women who are doing business with them. And so I thought that the government and the Airline Association would have called for an urgent meeting. The time and the energy that they used to go to court was enough to resolve this if they would have called the union and just told them that, look, from where we are, we just inherited our offices recently. We are putting structures together. Please give us more time, and this is what we will do. I want to believe that, because I have been involved in union activities. The unions always understand if they realize that you have a counteractive measure that is productive to them. If, for example, the labor unions want maybe 1 million Kenya shillings, and you tell them that for a start we'll give you 100,000, then going forward every month this is what we'll be giving, you can strike a deal. But you don't run to the courts, because the courts will issue injunctions. But when workers are hungry and when they want to achieve their gains, you cannot stop them. Because the Kenya Pilots Association also issued a statement, and they said that they are acting within the law, because the law and the bylaws in the union give the labor laws, give them the leeway and the latitude to call for industrial action if their wants are not given according to the laws that govern them. Now, I want to call upon Mr. Kipchumba Murkomen. He always talks when it comes to defending President Ruto. In fact, he uses some good English. And today I think this is the right time for Mr. Murkomen, because I believe he's a man who is capable. He was given that ministry, and I believe he will do his best. So this is the time for Mr. Murkomen to put all his energy and the wisdom to prove to Kenyans that indeed he was vetted and given the green light to head that docket. And I want to believe that moving forward, they are going to stop issuing statements in the media, and instead they are going to call for the union so that they can have a serious meeting. When the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua issued some statement to the effect that those who are handling and the stakeholders of the KQ ran it down, it did not go well with them. And I read some mischievous motives. There are saboteurs, people who are unseen, but they look like those big businessmen who have invested in the KQ, and they want to prove a point to Mr. Deputy President, so that next time he will tread carefully, because our Deputy President has reached a stature where he needs not to just issue careless talks. Whenever there is a problem, he should, and I still maintain that he should call for a meeting to resolve. If, for example, he realized or he thought in his own very considered opinion that there are stakeholders who were running the KQ, because KQ has been, it has suffered losses over the years, and every now and then the government will come in and pump some more money. And I want to believe that the deputy president had a point. However, at the level where, in his stature, he should find an amicable way of calling for meetings to resolve some of these things. So I want to believe that some multi-billionaires somewhere have sat down and they have crafted a plan to sabotage Mr. Ruto. And Mr. President, if you are listening, you should come in very fast and convene a meeting to resolve this. Otherwise, because as it was indicated earlier, just within 12 hours, over 300 million Kenya shillings is lost, because they had to arrange for accommodation for those who had booked their tickets. They had to reschedule some of the passengers, and the name Pride of Africa will soon be lost. The image has been dented. How I wish that the president moves in very fast so that we can resolve this. Do you think it is time for the president to relook at his bottom-up economic model? And Mr. Ndi, I think you're listening to, or someone will tell you, that whenever such a thing occurs, then it means the economic model that we have been using, I dare say that it has focused so much on the common man, the SMEs, the small and micro businesses, and they have forgotten and abandoned the bigger business, the multinational businesses. Under normal circumstances, these two will always work together. They depend on each other, so that we should not focus so much on the smaller businesses and forget the big one. What will happen is that they will conspire, they will sit together and conspire to send a message. And I want to believe, ladies and gentlemen, that this is exactly what is happening. Because I think William Ruto appointed someone as an economic advisor. Why can't they sit down and find out if there is a problem with their economic model, so that this, because when they start today, William Ruto will not have peace. Already there is ravaging drought that he has to deal with. Animals are dying, and remember, tourism is at the center of revenue for the country. And several things are happening that the cabinet should sit down and declare some of these things a national disaster. The saboteurs will take advantage of the demands of the pilots, and they will not give our president a peace of mind. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to pause and ask a question. Do you think the pilots have got a right at this hour to down their tools? Because I remember Mr. Murkomen was blaming them and telling them that the government is still young, they should have waited. I think there is a committee that has been given this task to look into their demands. Do you think they should wait further? And if they have to wait, for how long? The situation is getting there, because I read somewhere, there's a statement that has been issued. They have given the pilots, I think it is a 12 or 24 hours ultimatum to return to work, failure to which they are going to be declared to have absconded duty, because there is a court injunction that barred them from going ahead with the strike. But the union has said that they are acting within the constraints of the law. Which way? Are we going to be combative? Is the government and the Airline Association going to tackle them with thorax, forcing them to go to work because the courts had barred them? Or are they going to sit down and find an amicable solution? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that whatever it takes, let us redeem the image of the Kenya Airways, which is the pride of Africa. And that is my take, ladies and gentlemen.